Men crave food. They crave flesh. They crave power. We are not men, the Emperor's angels. His space marines crave honor. They crave retribution. They crave justice. We are not angels. We are the blood sons of Sanguinius. We crave only violence, bloodshed. There is no void in the deep of our souls. Only the hunger, the insatiable call to slaughter.
The Adeptus Astartes are comprised of many disparate souls of warriors, honor being a core tenet to many of the Space Marine chapters and warbands, regardless of the color of their pauldrons or list of battle glories. Yet honor is a malleable trait, with many disciples of the ruinous powers corrupting the quality beyond recognition or sane justification. Yet even the loyalist Space Marines are not beyond reproach in their methods of achieving victory against the forces of chaos, with few individuals more controversial in this regard than Nasir Amit, the Flesh Tearer. Little of Amit's life is known prior to his service as an Astartes of the 9th Legion, with no confirmed accounts of his birthworld or heritage. Yet alike to the captain of the Blood Angels' 5th Company, many of his deeds would remain unrecorded and bereft of pageantry. Serving with grim distinction during the Great Crusade, the 5th Company would be regarded by their brethren as bloodthirsty and zealous killers, earning Amit as the line commander of the company the nickname of the Flesh Tearer, a title which Amit would relish as a badge of honor. His artificer armor pocked and scarred by countless battles waged in the thickest of fighting, the 5th Company would wage war with blunt efficiency and savagery, earning them continual censure from their Primarch Sanguinius for abstaining from the virtues otherwise widespread within the Legion, such as compassion and mercy, censures which would go largely ignored by Amit, as he strode into ceremonial and formal occasions in his ravaged armor plating plastered in gore. Yet despite his renown as a butcher of the enemies of the Great Angel, Sanguinius would rely on Nasir's perspective on the way the Legion would conduct warfare. In contrast to his stoic brothers of 1st Captain Ralderon and commander of the Sanguinary Guard, Ascalon, Amit would embody their Legion's repressed rage inherently woven into their gene encoding. An embodiment of the Legion's barely contained bloodlust, the 5th Company would be instrumental in specific campaigns of the Great Crusade, including their assault on the Xenos Nephilim species on the planet of Melchior, alongside their cousin Astartes Legion, the Lunar Wolves. Their involvement bolstering rumors amongst the Astartes legions of their savagery. So volatile was Amit's potential to create outbursts against even Primarchs of the Imperium. He would be commanded by Sanguinius to stand sentinel within the Great Angel's personal quarters during the deliberations of the Council of Nicaea. The resultant decree to ban the use of the Librarius and their psychic powers, a decision Amit, alike to his Primarch, staunchly opposed. His posting to guard the Angel's chambers mitigating the chance of him arguing against the Emperor's decision, though Amit would nonetheless vent his frustrations with 1st Captain Ralderon, openly criticizing the Emperor of Mankind and his decision to safeguard the Imperium. Sanguinius empathizing with Amit's concerns, but reminding him that the Emperor's word was absolute and beyond critique or contestation. Amit's frustrations only beginning in the years leading up to the betrayal of the Horus Heresy, where his character would continually be tested. It was no secret amongst the legions of the Adeptus Astartes that the War Master, Horus Lupercal, shared the greatest camaraderie and affection for Sanguinius amongst all of his brothers. Their bond so strong that many assumed it impossible that such beings as the Primarchs, 2 most revered and beloved sons of the Emperor, would oppose one another in war, with even the War Master attempting to recruit his most cherished brother to join his side in defying the Emperor of Mankind and destroying his Imperium. Knowing in his heart that Sanguinius would never willingly defy the Emperor, Horus would plan to convert the Blood Angels by manipulating their gene flaw that he had first witnessed on the planet of Melchior. Witnessing the Great Angel killing one of his own Blood Angels Astartes, Sanguinius had entrusted Horus with the knowledge that his legion bore a dormant curse of madness, mutation, and bloodlust, the Red First. In an attempt to abuse this flaw, Horus would command the 9th Legion to venture to the Cygnus cluster on the distant eastern fringe of the galaxy. Ordered to cleanse the 7 worlds and 15 moons of the system of Xenos, the Blood Angels would blindly be ensnared by a trap laid by the War Master. Facing the forces of chaos for the first time, the Blood Angels would be tested. With Ammit suspecting treachery, he would discover his librarian brethren of the Legion, under the command of Makani Kano, were attempting to reform their order to combat the forces of chaos. Against the direct orders of the Emperor, Ammit would assist the librarians in secret. Beset by demonic vessels in orbit of Cygnus Prime, the Blood Angels' flagship, the Red Tear, would be assaulted by warp-spawn creatures in their hundreds. With the bridge crew of the flagship corrupted by chaos, the Red Tear would crash upon the surface of Cygnus Prime. Assembling a council of his most trusted commanders, Sanguinius would beseech his sons of their next course of action. Declaring his accounts with unabashed bluntness, Nasir Ammit would reason that they had been betrayed by the War Master and assailed by unnatural forces spun by his will. Assaulted by his enraged Primarch for voicing such bitter truths, Ammit would not recant his words, for he knew the truth would need to be heard. With the support of Helic Redknife, leader of the small cadre of space wolves that had accompanied the Blood Angels to the Cygnus cluster, the Great Angel would see sense. Combating the demon forces, Sanguinius would confront their general, Bloodthirster Kabanda, and in the ensuing battle, watch the lives of 500 of the 9th Legion Astartes be ended by the demon. Unleashing a warp-charged force of endless violence, Ammit and his men would be consumed by the Red First, slaughtering Helic Redknife and his space wolves in their berserker rage. With the battle concluded, Ammit would submit himself to First Captain Rauderon to be punished for his crimes. Ascalon would hide Ammit's actions from their Primarch, much to Nasir's anger. Burdening the shame of his slaughter for the remainder of his life, Nasir Ammit would fight the traitor forces for the rest of the Horus heresy. Each kill achieved penance for his betrayal of the Wolves of Fenris. Yet with the end of the war at the bridge of the War Master's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, the Blood Angels would lose their cherished Primarch, Sanguinius. His death at the hands of the War Master, forever damning the 9th Legion to the machinations of their accursed Black Rage. Yet for Nasir Ammit, his woes would not be over. With the dawning of the Imperium's victory against the traitors to the throne, the Adeptus Astartes would be broken down into new founding chapters by the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Rabute Guilliman, fracturing the legions into orders of 1,000 members per each of their new chapters. The glory of the Angels' Legion would be repurposed by one not of the blood. Resentment would brew within the remnants of the 9th Legion, not least within Nasir. As he would state, their proud heraldry would be replaced, their battle honors swept from history. Nasir Ammit would be appointed the chapter master of the second founding chapter, the Flesh Tearers, his infamous title now given as a badge of office to lead the most ruthless and barbaric sons of Baal. Bereft of their gene father, and now the kinship of their legion, the Blood Angels would be dealt a cruel hand in the wake of the scouring of the traitor armies. Shaken and embittered, Ammit would stand alone with his conviction that the glory of the angel had been sundered, and lead his new chapter in a blood-drenched crusade to destroy the last vestiges of the traitors to the throne. Their mobile fortress monastery of Victus forging their path for the next 3 millennia, the Flesh Tearers gaining a reputation as the single most savage chapter amongst the Imperium, their influence verging on the heretical. Establishing their homeworld on the death world of Cretacia during the 34th millennium, the chapter would recruit amongst the feral human inhabitants of the world, further worsening the effects of their gene flaws. Yet for Nasir Ammit, he would not live to see the continual spiral of his chapter into madness and brutality. Leaving his new homeworld of Cretacia, Ammit would vanish into the edge of the system. Though no record exists of the specifics of his death, his panoply of war Terminator armor would be secured by the chapter, though some within the Imperium speculate Nasir to have not been bested in combat, but to have been consumed to further depths of bloodlust and depravity, transforming further into a monolith of slaughter and rage. With even the current chapter master of the Flesh Tearers, Gabriel Seth, bearing witness to terrible visions of his predecessor within the recovered cogitators of Amit's long-lost armored helmet. What Seth saw before being knocked out unconscious was this: blood. A sky that tore itself apart. Crimson clouds that bled until continents were washed away. Gore-soaked rocks that gave way to deserts of skulls. Burning tornadoes, rage made manifest, scouring the lands. Yet these images weren't the ones that silenced him from revealing what he saw of his brothers. Seth had seen Amit's face. He heard his voice, and it was the roar of a violent god. Gabriel Seth would only describe what he saw as the end. He saw the end. This has been a tale of the great Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer. The fate of the Imperium's most stalwart heroes and protectors is rarely without tragedy. Yet all must remember that their sacrifices are not in vain. For the Imperium still stands, and with your aid we shall recover its lost histories, for the glory of the Emperor, the Angel, and the loyal servants of humanity.